Welcome to this quick demonstration. My name is Michel Buteau and I work for RSA. So what I'm going to show you today is an application that I put together on ServiceNow when it comes to the front end. But in the back end, I have configured some quick integration with both CyberArk, which I use for vaulting passwords, and also RSA Governance and Lifecycle, which I use for provisioning and other aspects. So what we're looking at right now is an example of a portal screen. I'm connected as able tutor, and we can take a look at different applications or different use cases that I'm satisfying with this application. But now what I want to show you is a use case that is starting to be requested by many organizations, and I'm talking about organizations banking, financial, but eventually that's going to expand to other verticals as well, which is basically associated with requesting a service account or a privilege account and making sure that it's configured properly and ultimately that the password is vaulted. So let's get started here. So let's say as able tutor today, I want to request a new privilege or a system account. So I can do a search in the catalog because the application is actually a catalog item, and then I can see here that there is an object available, a catalog item available that's called request new service account. The name of the application is trois, which means tree in French, because I have three different systems here being integrated in this demo environment. So now for my new account, I can select to authenticate against the vault. So I'm just going to type my password, and I'm going to check that box here to authenticate against the CyberArk Vault. I could have used a button or something else. Again, this is mostly to demonstrate the integration. And now, with a direct call to CyberArk, I'm able to retrieve the save that I have access to. So I've enabled or I've authorized my user to access two saves, so I can see those two saves. I can browse the members. So this is being accomplished using the REST interface that CyberArk is exposing. So I'm basically using a few calls here. One is to authenticate, the other one is to retrieve my saves, and then to take a look at some information related to those saves, for example, who has access, and I could use additional calls here to retrieve more information. But now let's say I want to request a new account for SAP. So I'm trying to get an account with privilege access to SAP, and I want the password to be stored in the vault. So I need to provide the name for not the password, but the password object, the document that's going to be containing the password in the CyberArk Vault. So my CyberArk, let's say, vaulted password. And now I can submit my request. And now the integration will start to basically create a request in RSA, and also it's going to create a request in CyberArk for a new vaulted object. So I can take a look at RSA first. So if I go into RSA, so if I just look at my requests, I'll be able to see that there's a new request, a change request that has been created in RSA, and I can see that this request was created from ServiceNow. That's the password object here that has been requested, and right now there's an approval in RSA to move forward. Eventually I'm going to create an account here for the user I'm impersonating, which is John Micro. And if I take a look at the vault, now I'm going to log out and log back into the vault here. And now if I take a look at my IFX save, I can see my new password object here that has just been created. And if I take a look at it, I can see the type, and I can also access my object and show the password. So I basically created a random password here. I'm using a little script to do that. So now I have the account creation request in RSA. So eventually, if it's approved, RSA is going to provision that account to SAP. But the password is not part of the provisioning that RSA is doing. The password will be stored in the password vault, so the service account will be usable if the password is retrieved from the CyberArk Vault. So that's the first part of it. And the second part also of the integration is something I want to show you. So RSA has connectors to basically provision accounts, create accounts in different applications. So if I look at SAP, for example, I see two SAP connectors. And the first one is the traditional connector. So if I look at it, it's basically requesting a password here. So that means the password for the service account that the connector is using is not vaulted. It's basically stored in the RSA or provisioning server database. I have this other SAP connector here. And this one, instead of using or storing a password in the RSA database, it's configured with CyberArk AIM to retrieve the password from the vault. So it specifies that the safe is EFX safe. My password object is at the root. There is no folder or subfolder under the safe itself. And now I can specify, the name of the password object. So I could change it here to say my SAP Vault password. And this is how I would be able to use the service account I just requested, assuming that it's being provisioned to SAP using the connector we're looking at after the approval is done in RSA. And I would basically extend the integration to cover also this use cases for being able to move the passwords for privileged accounts, including those used by provisioning connectors, to the vault where they should belong. So this is basically what's happening from the end user administrator perspective. If we take a quick look at the actual application in ServiceNow, so let me just open the studio. So this is the studio here, and I use the studio to create a new scoped application. And basically this is the catalog item that includes also all the variables and the form fields that I need to either present to the user or use to store hidden values for the form. And also the application consists of some client-side scripts. So I have these different client script. For example, this is the on mode. So it's basically deciding to hide some of the display fields. It's retrieving some information about the requester that it's going to pass to RSA and CyberArk as part of the process. And then I have some server-side logic also that is basically called by the client side using Glad Ajax to be able to resolve the information, get the info here, authenticates against CyberArk, get the safe. So all the logic here, including the web service calls, are included into those server-side scripts. So this is where the bulk of the integration using REST calls is located. And the last piece, is the actual workflow. Again, it's leveraging the REST APIs for both CyberArk and RSA to get an authentication token from RSA. Then I generate a random password, and then I basically create a request for CyberArk for a new password object to store my password. And finally, I create a change request in RSA to ask RSA to use its provisioning connectors to create the actual account in the target system. that's it for this quick demonstration. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have a good day.